good. What got down there? Have you got your antenna up, or you just tested out?
Well, the antenna's at the lower height. I can't raise that up. That's stuck there until we do some work on it. And I don't know where to point from you. I've got hearing you too well.
Yeah, well, I guess that would be just a little bit west of you. Your antenna will be a lot more sensitive to pointing gears on 432 than going around the east to pull you in, which I think is the optimum direction right now. So you're about an S4. Over.
All right, I'm not attacking you. I'll get you up to about an S5.
Yeah, that came up just a little bit more. So let's see, you're probably running 75 watts?
50. Let me go back. I want too far. We'll find this one. I guess it's right around here, which is north by northwest. Almost north.
Yeah, that's about the right, because that would be just a little bit east of south for you. So, yeah, that's the power limitation, I guess, on 432 is 50 watts, unless you have a waiver. I've got one for 500 watts, and there's a number of people who obtained the waivers. That might be something you want to consider in the future.
Yeah, I do want to do that. So you'll be a good person to talk to when it's time to fill out the paperwork. I've got the form here, but yeah, a long list of things to do here in the shack here.
That's right. A couple of questions I have. You're running the 9700 right now, right?
Yes, sir.
And what microphone are you using? A hand mic or the SP20 or whatever it is, SM20?
Shure SM7 studio mic.
Okay. I was just kind of curious, and have you mucked around at all with your parametric amplifier in the audio chain?
Very little. You know, that's fine tuning. I'm still in the coarse tuning phase.
Okay, because I spent another day or two playing with my settings, working with somebody close in who was very familiar with my audio here on this rig, the MT991. And it took just a little bit of tinkering with the 9700, getting the bass setting and the treble setting just right to make the audio sound like it has some punch to it. It might be something that you want to experiment with.
Oh, it's on the list, along with 900 other things. Am I too dark, too sharp? I guess I'm not sharp enough, probably.
It's hard to describe what your audio sounds like. In a way, it almost sounds like you're, maybe 6 inches away from the microphone, and we're picking up reflections from in your shack.
That's good. Here's a dead carrier. The shack is the walls, the ceiling, and everything is covered with absorption foam. It's a pretty dead shack, so I would say not too much reflection. But let me tell you, it's a multi-stage. I got the SM7B going into a cloud lifter preamplifier, and then I've got the I got the EQ after that, and then the microphone selector, which also has a drive level on it, which then lets me switch the mic between the 7851 and the 9700. So, having said all that, there's a lot. You know, I may have the right amount of gain, but not coming from the right stages of all this. I'd be overdriving one and underdriving another, and it's going to take hours. Probably a lot of time with me with the headphones on before I even bring a live person into this, unless you think there's something quick we can adjust.
Well, no, and you stated it very well. It's not an easy thing to do. Now, you have obviously a lot of stuff in front of the radio, and you have to take those preamplifiers into consideration as far whether they're rolling off or emphasizing any bass or treble components to your speak. My personal opinion is that your audio doesn't have quite enough punch, and I'm not sure if I'm the right person to tell you that it's too much bass or too much treble or just what, but I think a little bit of tinkering might go a long way.
All right, let me that a little on, so the treble up a bit. Oh yeah, it certainly will. And I am also feeding into the back panel of the radio, so I'm not using anything in the internals of the radio. So the radio settings as far as compression, gain, bass and treble, all the stuff that's on the main dial of the radio is all disabled. Everything is going to be done with pre-processing.
Oh, okay. Well, I have absolutely no clue then about what you can and cannot do with your preamplifiers. I'm assuming that that capability exists in those preamps.
Oh yeah. Here's lots of treble right here. 11111. Here's no treble, and this is just a simple setting. I also have I have an 8-band EQ here as well, so I can really fine tune. Let me bring this back up with some treble. So yeah, the adjustments are good.
Yeah, well, you definitely need the treble, because when you cut the treble, you just become muddy and almost indistinguishable.
All right, well, how's that?
Well, I think you were back to your original setting.
No, I've still got lots more treble than I used to.
When you turned it off.
No, it's back up all the way.
Yeah, that is a good spot to keep it for the time being. Now, obviously, is there a compression setting in your preamplifier, or is it just basically parametric with bass and treble?
Oh no, I got compression, I got downward expansion, I've got noise gates, I've got reverb and all kind. It's a full audio. It's a full studio.
Oh wow! I can see you with a cup of coffee at midnight trying to figure it all out.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. Horrible. Some guys on 40 meters, I think, one day took a little pity on me, and spent about, I'd say 15 minutes or so and got it to where it's at now. There's a certain harshness in there, which I haven't quite figured out. But I think what's happening is I've got one of these is underdriving, and the other one's trying to overcompensate. And I think I've just got to get the levels at each stage. And what I have to do is I have to disconnect each stage, bring one in at a time, adjust that one, then bring the second one, until I get these things all stacked up correctly.
Yeah, well, it's a problem. Well, one of the problems also, like say, if you were using me up here to do some checks, there's so much flutter on your signal. It's very difficult to give you a really good report. You need somebody who's closer, and where the signal is like maybe 5 or 10 dB over S9, no noise in the background, no flutter, and then start playing around with settings from that point. Going out at 40 meters makes a lot of sense too, because you don't have that rapid flutter there, and signals are much stronger and steadier.
Right. Yeah, and there's nobody around here that I trust. I hate to say it to my ham friends, but they don't know. They don't know. I'll have to do with headphones, get it really close, and then, pick a time with somebody like you on maybe VHF or something where we get a really good signal and just try it then.
Yeah, that might work. I mean, even on your signal right now, when you stand in front of a fan and talking in front of a fan and your voice wobbles, well, that's very characteristic up here on 432. You get a lot of that rapid kind of fading.
Yeah, I've got it on YouTube. I call it the watery sound.
Right, exactly. Well, this audio setup here is an MD100 microphone, and I think I have bass cut and high emphasis switched in on the microphone, but then there's also some settings on the radio where I'm boosting treble a little bit and I think cutting bass. And once again, arrived after a lot of experimentation and signal recording.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a whole, when I get everything else working pretty well, then I'll start with that. But if I get on that rabbit hole now and then I make changes, it's just going to drive me nuts. It's just, yeah. I see I'm even hitting limit a little bit on this thing, so I don't want to be there. But unfortunately, I probably won't be getting that till early next year. In reality.
Well, there's plenty of time to muck around. So, are you happy that I gave you another day of life?
I don't know. Let's see what tomorrow brings. I really thought it was today. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was getting really disappointed. I'm like, I'm not hearing a damn soul.
Yeah, after you sent me that email, I looked at my announcement, and it was October 4th. I had the QST open. I checked it before I sent the email. I didn't want to screw it up.
No. It is Wednesday. It says it very clearly. I just don't know what days of the week.
Well, I think it happens to us all. How many times have I put the vegetables in the wrong place in the refrigerator?
Oh, my wife will get used to that.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you get in a hurry and things end up in the wrong place, I guess, at the least expected time. All right, so anything else here this evening? KA4 UPW, WA4 GPM.
WA4 GTM, KA4 UPW. No, Buzz, I'm glad you were able to drop whatever you're doing at dinner time and come out and talk to me. I hope the family's not upset. I appreciate your help.
Now, we had just finished, and when you, I guess, sent the emails out, my phone went off, and I looked over there, and I just said, well, I'll get that later. So I got everything all cleaned up. We usually eat around 6:30, so by 7 o'clock it's all over.
Yeah, me too. 6:30 or so, and of course that's when the 2 meter sideband that starts at 7. So it's a terrible time. I wish we could push that thing to 8 o'clock.
Well, that would interfere with the net up in Georgia, and so then you've got another conflict to worry about. There's not too many conflicts, but a few. So I was going to say, when George had his net on Monday night, I heard a few people. How many people checked in? About 20 of them?
Last night, I think there were 19, and he didn't pick up. I don't know why George didn't go back and pick up those last two guys to the south. That would have been 21, and I think that would have been the biggest net that he's run since Roger passed. But, I have, in 3 years, I have never heard those guys in Georgia. I don't think we'll interfere with them. And if the band is open that night, and we are, what a fun net that'll be, having two groups sharing the net.
Well, it's true. I have difficulty hearing when I WA4 NJP. He's south of Atlanta, I guess EM84. And it's a tough copy. There's some nights where he's better than others. There was a couple other southern Georgia stations that used to check in with Roger, but I haven't heard them since Roger passed. So, in one respect, you're correct. It wouldn't interfere with anybody.
Yeah, and if their band opened up and that, I would just, we just let each net control take a turn and see how many we can, if they can pick up from down here, and we can pick up from up there. But I don't know. But it's just so early. And then by the time we're finishing up, the band is starting to open up and get good. And I'm like, darn it.
Yeah, it does improve as the evening wears on. My not play, but my observation. is that there must be a lot of guys that are vertically polarized, and that's why I don't hear them. You know, they get that 20 dB loss because of polarization.
Yeah, Ray was on last night, and about the Ray over here on WD4SEN, and he's got a 13B2 vertical amp horizontal in his tower. He was flipping back and forth, and he said there was quite a few guys vertical. I tell you, sometimes I hear George better vertical than horizontal, so the multipath that I get in between him and me sometimes twist that pattern around.
And that'd be especially true if you both are not pointed in the same direction. I've observed with X4TWX, who is in Worthington Springs, about 80 miles west of me, that when our antennas are not pointed at each other, his frequency actually shifts several hundred hertz up. I can't really explain it outside of the fact that it must be reflections, but you get lots of strange phenomena here in the UHF.
Yeah, I was chasing out a little bit yesterday with those guys as well. Especially, yeah. But, yeah, and exactly. When I noticed when he was pointing more west and I was pointing more west, I was getting more of that. You know, so we were getting a reflection. I was laughing. I said, I think it's the I-4 eyesore. He's hitting it and I'm hitting it. We're talking off the side of the building.
Yeah, it's another example, Buddy Morgan, WB4OMG, down in Lakeland. When he is on FTA, I'll see him in 3 different places on the band. He sees me in 3 different places on the band. When our antennas are not pointed at each other, there's some really strange reflections going on.
Interesting. Well, it's going to be a fun world up here. I really have no experience. I've done 2 sideband in the past with some different radios. 432, you're, just a few contacts on this one. Well, basically, yeah, 2 weekends ago for the contest, 3 weekends ago, whenever that was, that's the only time I've used 432 and 496.
Well, there's, you can look at the list and you can see that there's plenty of people who have the capability of getting on 1296 and 432. But a lot of it has to do with demographics. You know, there's a lot of people that are UHF, EHF operators that are like myself. I'm 75 years old, and I've got a large group of cohorts that are in my same age group. And there's not a lot of 20 and 25-year-olds that are interested in VHF, so it's a real challenge.
And yet the technician class is pretty much exclusively there. I guess you get 10 meters now.
That's right. But they're probably on 10 meters, so I don't know quite how to explain it. All right, well, I'm going to sign out, and we'll look for you tomorrow night. I'll probably be on tomorrow morning. Last couple of mornings I've slept in, so can't guarantee that either. KA4 UPW and WA4 GPM.
All right, Buzz. Thanks again. Yeah, I don't have time in the morning. I'm not going to get the HT out while I'm doing things and organizing myself in the morning and catching somebody on the local repeater. But not going to get out to the shack and get on the air if it's a weekday. But all right. Well, I threw the recorder on for this, so capturing this, I don't think I'm going to upload it tonight. I'm tired, to be honest with you. I'm in the house and but sometime tomorrow I'll upload this video and send it to you so you register yourself from 432.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to listen to that. And by the way, your signal has been averaging at 9 the whole time. A little bit of QSB up and down, but one of the better signals out of that area, Bob, W4RAA, is located north of you, but he never really puts in the same kind of signal that you're putting in here tonight. So hats off to your installation, and once you get that antenna up to the full height, you'll be S9 all the time. KA4 UPW, WA4 GPM.
Hey, one other thing before you run, Buzz. How'd you get your nickname?
That was given to me by my mother. Just after I was born, she was reading a book. The character in the book was Buzz, and she heard my crying, and the rest is history.
My dad's nickname was Buzz. His real name was Earl, but I never knew how he got that nickname. I think it was his haircut. He always had a buzz cut.
Yeah, I've only known two other Buzzes. One was a friend of Roger's who lived down there in the Titusville area, and another one who was a friend of my father's when we were in the Navy up here in Jacksonville back in 1959. Other than that, no other Buzzes. We'll see you later.
All right, 7 3s. Thanks for the chat. KA4UPW.